Okay, this video is about the two kinds of people on this planet. The best examples I could think of is where I went to get the pictures. These are pictures of Navy SEAL candidates. In the top two, they are laying in ice cold water to the point of hypothermia. They don't let them quite get hypothermia, but they get them real close. They go about 2 weeks barely sleeping 2, 3 hours a night. And the picture in the front is this log that they carry. They have to do it in teams of five, I think it is, 5 or 6. And basically, what happens is it brings out which people start to give in a little bit, and then on your team, you get to learn who are the people that fight through and who don't. So basically, these guys are like the ultimate example of the two types of people on the planet. The way I describe them is there are people who handle their business. I'm just joking, and then everybody else. Sadly, I think that the percentage is kind of 80-20, but the 20 are the people that do handle their business. The 80 is everybody else. They are just the normal, average, regular people that walk the planet. The really good news is that you choose which group you are. Even better news is you can decide to join either group whenever you want. But the bad news is that the 20% group, and I don't even know if it's 20% honestly, but I'm trying to be optimistic. But that group is much, much, much harder. These are the people that get things done. They get up a little earlier. They stay up a little later. They do things a little better. They do it a little longer. When you give them a job, they always do a little more than you ask. That's the opposite of what I want to call the typical American, which is the person who does the least amount they can do to get by. And that is most people. Probably the quality that I think you need more than anything else. Oh, the things with the Navy SEALs is this. The things that they do while physically demanding are none of them are based on like your physical strength. They are all mental tests. They basically, no matter how strong you are, if you can do 50 push-ups, they make you do 51. If you can do 5 push-ups, they make you do 6. The whole point is that it's the mental challenge. Are you willing to not give up? And the idea is that that mental toughness is like a muscle, and when you build it, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger to a point where eventually you start to think I don't want to say there's nothing that you can't do, but put it this way, if we're going to have to pick somebody, this type of person says, let it be me, because if I can't do everything, I can definitely do more than anyone else. One of the qualities they need is the ability to have delayed gratification. That means they have to choose what's not fun right now. In this country, most people, it's always like they make a decision always this way. They have two choices, the hard thing and easy thing, and they think about it and they say, right now, I would prefer to do the easy thing. And that's what they do. If you take a second, think of the people that you know in your life. Because you meet these people all the time. You meet people every day, and they fall into one of these two categories. One of the cool things about it is when one of the 20%ers walks into a room, you know it oozes out of their pores. You don't have to go up to somebody and say, excuse me, sir, are you tough? Are you mentally tough? You don't have to ask. When they walk in, you know. And when other people walk in, the 20%ers, they can spot the 80%ers right away. They know who they are when they work with them. They know who their friends are that are like their friends. I use that word loosely. They family members, siblings, doesn't matter. The 20%ers, they know who they are, and they know who the 80%ers are. And they almost have, I don't want to say, not in a mean way do they look down on people. They don't look down on the person. They look down on their weakness. It makes them like, you look at someone and you go, you just think to yourself, you're weak. And part of it is because when you do all these harder things, it makes you realize you're tough. And tough in a way that says, I can do the things that, go back to the Navy SEALs. Anyone could go out and lay in ice cold water for a half hour and be bone numbingly shivering with your teeth rattling out your. Anyone can do that. Doesn't matter how old, how young, how strong, how weak. It's, are you mentally tough enough? Anyone can hold that stupid log for a while. Because here's the whole thing, they hold it until they eventually drop it. They never let them put it down. The whole thing is they want you to see who on your team gives up. So, now think of people you know, because you know people that fit into both categories. You might know them in your work life, in your neighborhood, just, wherever you go. Now, how does this happen? I know I'm going in circles, but I'll try to be as organized as I can. What builds this? Well, it's the tough periods. It's the periods in your life where you're dealing with situations where you're like, oh my God, this really stinks. But it builds a toughness. And part of the way that you can look at the kind of people that we're trying to figure out is to say, describe for me those periods in your life where it was really bad, but you did it. Because, man, when you do it, then you come out the other side with this belief in yourself. I'll just share mine. I can remember for about 3 years, I used to get up every morning at about 6:30. I would drive to a warehouse, work on a forklift from 8 to 4, and get in my car and drive about an hour and 20 minutes to school and go to grad school at night, and then get done around 9 o'clock, and then try to drive home bleary-eyed at like 10 o'clock at night. Can remember having to pull over because I just I couldn't even see straight. Then you get home and then get up the next day to do the same thing, and at the same time on the weekends had to take another job because I was, you're trying to pay for school. So the whole thing is, it sucked for a long time, to the point where most people just say, oh, this is too hard, I want to give up. But the thing is, in the end, if you can do it, you come out the other side in a way that you would never go back. I meant to say this, I don't know where I put this. Oh, down the bottom. It's not easy, but you never go back. I will say this. If you find a 20 percenter and you ask them and you say, listen, from now on, if you want, you can always take the easy way. If you're doing a job, you can always kind of like sneak and do the easy way. Or you can always sleep in a little more. You can always go to bed a little later. You can sit and play video games all the time. But basically, what happens is, if you're in this 20 percenter group, you would never go back because it gives you a feeling every second of every minute, of every hour, of every day, of every week, of every month, of every year, of your entire life. It's a feeling that you would never give up. And the other people, the ones who are always getting away by taking the shortcut, they might think that they're getting away with something, but they have to carry around a feeling inside that they know, I'm the kind of person that always tries to do the shortcut. And the price of that, I hope someday I can help people understand, because if people understood it, there would be no 80 percenters. It would be 100% of people that push themselves all the time, because you would never want to feel that way. Now, I'm going to go back and pick on someone that I know, somebody that I don't want to say he was ever really a friend, but it was somebody that I know. It was a good friend of a friend. And basically, he epitomized what I think people do often. He always chose the good side of things without the responsibility side. I remember he bought this giant dog. It was some kind of, like, I think it was called an Akita. I don't know. It was a massive dog. So the whole thing is, he wanted the upside of a dog. You walk down the street with this beast, everyone looks at you like, yo, man, you are a total tough guy. And then, it was fun to have, it was, every dog is the same. They make you feel good. They're happy to see you when you come in. And there's all these positive sides of dog ownership. But then there's a whole bunch of responsibilities that come with that. You have to at least walk your dog 40 minutes in the morning, 40 minutes at night. You have to pick up their poop. There's a whole bunch of responsibilities that you have. Well, this guy that I know, he just basically took the good sides and eliminated the bad sides. What he used to do is basically keep the dog in it. Oh my God, so evil. He kept the dog in a cage all the time, all work day. He was in the cage. He didn't really walk him in the morning. He just let him out. He would take a crap on this little cement patio that they had behind the place. He never cleaned the poop up. It would just be, oh my God, it was disgusting. You could almost smell it when you go in the front door. You'd be like, what the heck is that smell? Because it was all around the back. So then he locked the dog in the cage, and then he'd get home. The dog would be completely psychotic and out of control. And I remember thinking that if there was any fairness in the world, that basically the way it would have worked is he would have gone to the SPCA or a dog store. They would have let him have the dog for a week. They would have come and said, listen, I know you like the good side, but are you meeting your responsibilities? Are you walking the dog 40 minutes in the morning and 40 minutes at night? Are you spending the time to teach it the discipline? And are you cleaning up after the dog and buying the food? And the whole thing is, they'd have just taken this guy's dog away. Instead, it turned into this psycho dog. It's horrible to watch. And basically, that's what people tend to do. The 80 percenters, they always want to take the good, they want to cherry pick. They want to take the good side without the responsibility side. Well, the responsibility side is the part that sucks, but it's the part that makes you proud of yourself. And once you're in that club, all I can say is no one ever wants to leave. I'm not saying they're perfect. They definitely screw up. But then eventually, when they're screwing up, something in them says, man, I got to get my act back together because I'm not this kind of person. I don't like feeling this way. I'm not a slacker. I am the kind of person. So when you look at the hardest part is if you said to people which group you want to be in, they all say I want to be in the hard group. Well, look at the faces on these guys. That's what it feels like. It sucks. There are times that it sucks. But there is a pride that you get when you come out the other side. That's why if you said, show me the biggest example of pride in this country, I'd show you a Navy SEAL. Like that's what they've done. And you see those guys, a lot of them are like 5'10", 170 pounds. They're not the biggest, they're not the strongest. They are the toughest. There's nothing that they can't do. I don't like, man. So the whole thing is that people don't realize the cost that they're paying by choosing not to be that kind of person. I got to end the video because I can't do a 15-minute video. I'm going to run out. But basically, I'm going to try to make some videos that help people understand what the cost is for being in either one. One is harder, but the cost is, or the result is you get to feel awesome. The other one is easier, but then you have to feel like crap your whole life, and it's just not worth it. And I don't think people realize it. They never really consciously think about it. They just keep rolling along, and everyone else is doing the same thing, so they don't notice. So I'll make more, but for now, that'll be the first part.